there's the Wee Dad cut, there's the curly hair artistry haircut, there is the Rizzo cut, and then there's just regular old hair cutting. I have trained under Diva Curl, the curly hair artistry. I have not trained under Rizzo, but I kind of just learned myself, and it's my favorite one. So I don't like Diva cuts at all. I despise Diva Curl. Diva cuts are horrible. I got my hair cut by a Diva trained stylist, and when I was talking to her, she was like, yeah, I took one Diva training, and I got my certification. I was like, so you only did one class? And she was like, yeah, and I'm like,
bye.
but literally I was like, oh hell,
Yeah, you go.
and yeah, I was terrified. So then I found out that you can be called a curly haired Diva trained specialist with only 3 training sessions, and I'm like, hell no. I believe you're only a curl specialist if you're genuinely passionate about curly hair. So I hated every haircut I ever had, and I want for other people not to have that experience. So that's why I became a curl specialist. So I met this woman named Beverly Turner. She was the most amazing woman I've ever met. The day I found her, I was Googling curly haired specialist because I was just sick and tired of hating every haircut that I ever had. So I finally just Googled a curly specialist, and I found her, and I was just like, she was this pretty little girl with curly hair, but you know, looked nothing like me or people that I know with curls and afros. It was nowhere near my texture, so I was like, we'll give it a try. I was a little worried. I don't really trust anybody that doesn't have my texture, even if it is curly, because you just don't know the struggle unless you live it. But I gave her a try. I paid $150 for my haircut, and I was mortified at the price, but then I saw my hair, and I went to her about 18 more times ever since in the past. So from 2012 to 2016, I went to her, and I paid $150 every single time, happily with a smile on my face, and I tipped her too. So yeah, I was blown away by her technique. It was through the curly hair artistry in Ohio, and she's been labeled Curly Hair Artist of the Year for about 7 years in a row. And she's unfortunately retired now, so I don't know who to cut my hair anymore. I don't let anybody touch my hair. But she was the only person who touched my hair, and I'm so sad about it because I don't know who to go to anymore. Sorry.
Just ask her.
Well, she like completely retired. She switched her whole job because after her husband died, she just couldn't do it anymore. So it was very sad. It was very sad. But she taught me everything she knew. So the day she met me, she was blown away by my hair. My hair's not that amazing anymore, but in 2015, my hair was a whole different monster. I was famous on Instagram for my hair, and I've lost over 20,000 followers in the past 4 years because my hair went to shit. My hair was beautiful 4 years ago. It was out here, huge, amazing. If you guys see my Instagram, you'll see it. But yeah, now my hair is just horrible, so I don't really care about it no more. I used to care about it so much.
It doesn't look horrible.
Oh, thank you. But it is. You know how we know our own hair?
Yeah.
My hair is just not it
I get
anymore.
it.
But Drake, that's what I want to do. So she was super amazed by my hair, and she said she'd never seen a boy with hair like mine before. And she was obsessed with me. She was in love with me. So I used to get my hair cut by her all the time. And then one day she was just like, "You know so much about curls," because she found my Instagram, and she was like, "Wow, you have a whole following all based about curly hair." My entire Instagram is to help people love and embrace their curly hair. At least it used to be. Now I just post whatever. I haven't posted in a long time. But I used to post all the time just about helping people with hair and curly hair. And she loved my hair, so she decided that I should go to beauty school. So she's the only reason that I went to Paul Mitchell. She encouraged me to go to Paul Mitchell, so then I went, and then I got licensed. And after I got licensed, she had me become her, what is called her apprentice. So I was her apprentice for 2 years, and I would go into her appointments. So she would have customers come in, like say right now, this was her customer, and then she would let them know that I would be standing in the room and watching and observing, and sometimes even doing her hair. And the customers were usually always fine with it. There was one that didn't want me in the room, and I was like, okay, you weird ass. But yeah, so she would have me shadow her, and that is where I learned how to cut curly hair, was through her, shadowing her. And then I was gonna be her apprentice and then work at her salon, and I was gonna be her only stylist in her salon. And then she retired, and it was very sad because I was like, damn, my dream when I became a licensed cosmetologist was to be a curly hair specialist. for curly hair, and she was handing me my broom, and then it was
And then it was ripped away.
and it was ripped away. But it's okay. We're still gonna get there one day. But so we do a curly hair cutting technique. It is a dry curly cut, so we don't have much of a curl going on here. So
Second
I'm
day.
gonna cut it second day. I'm gonna wash it and everything, and then get the curl back, and then piece it out from there. But so we cut curly hair dry because curly hair, wet and dry, are two different things, right? This hair, when it's wet, looks way different than when it's dry. So we don't wear our hair wet, so why would we cut it wet, right? With straight hair, it's more easier because it's straight and it dries straight, and then you can adjust it with the blow dry and refinement. For curly hair, when we diffuse it, then you cut these both at the same length, but then when it dries, this curls up here and this one stays down here, so it's unbalanced, right? So people who get curly haircuts don't want to hear, when you straighten it, it's not going to be even. Girl, I don't straighten it. So what are you talking about? But people tell me that all the time. They're like, with those curly cuts, it's going to be uneven when you straighten it. And I'm just like, I don't wear my hair straight ever, and I never will. So that doesn't mean anything to me. But those are curly haired specialists who don't know how to cut curly hair. Because if you do it properly dry, it'll look proper when it's straightened as well. So my hair, when Beverly cut it, would look beautiful curly, and it would look amazing straight. And her layers were just so perfect. So what I'm gonna do now is actually have it fixed that way, so at least everybody can see. Okay, you guys, so this is called a Rizzo cut. This is the Rizzo technique. So I'm gonna get rid of the front of her head. We're gonna get rid of the front of the head, so we're doing apex to mastoid, right? So make sure it's balanced at the top. So if I'm a little farther back right here, I'm gonna go farther back. Okay. And just for control, I'm going to go ahead and flip the front out of the way so I don't accidentally pick it up. So even though the curl is pretty pulled out and pretty straightened, I'm still gonna do the Rizzo technique because we got a wave in there and we got the curl in there. So the Rizzo technique is going to be cutting it in the dry state. I'm gonna take the first section, which is ear to ear. And I'm not super stressed over perfect lines when it comes to this, because as long as it all comes down in the same spot, I know that I'm good. Like this right here, like you see that, boom, and then that line over there, I don't really care, but I'm gonna make it a little bit more straight, just because, why not? Okay, so now I'm gonna get rid of the top of this right here, just clipped out the way. So, here goes the Rizzo technique. You guys are gonna be like, what the hell? Okay, so I'm gonna grab all this hair. How much are we willing to lose? Not too much?
Not too much.
Okay, so I'm just gonna create the shape then. I'm gonna keep your length and I'm just gonna create the shape better for your curly hair. So I'm gonna brush all this out, you guys. And then I'm going to hold it in my hand
over here.
right here. Okay? I'm gonna go ahead and just knock that off real quick. So I'm gonna recomb it. And then I'm gonna come hold it again. So now that I have a fresh clean base, this is called a rose petaling technique. So I'm gonna start cutting a rose petal into this. So I'm gonna create a cute little circle, right? Okay, so I got a cute little circle. So now I'm gonna start cutting into that circle. And the last time I did this, I sliced myself, so I'm a little nervous. But I'm just cutting into the circle, and essentially it's kind of like a rose petal. You guys know what a rose petal looks like? So it's not obviously gonna look like a rose petal, but it's called a rose petaling technique. So it's like your, you know those people that like cut grass and stuff? That's basically what we're doing. So we're cutting inside of that circle and we're leaving the outer pieces long. So it's kind of looking like a rose petal in the inside. So I'm creating some on the outwards, and then I'm gonna go pretty deep in and just start cutting in there. So then I'm gonna stop, and then that's gonna create our first shape. So I'm keeping, by pulling it this way, let me know if this doesn't make sense to you. By pulling it all here, this is being over directed and this is being over directed. So those are staying the longest. And if I'm cutting in the middle, then the interior, this is the outside. So if I pull the outside, it's what's out here, and then same thing out there. So this, all the perimeter is staying the longest. And if I'm cutting inside, then that means the interior, which is all of this stuff, is getting cut the shortest because short hair pushes long hair. So sometimes when curly hair, when you want it to be bigger, we give them short ass layers. But that essentially makes their hair flatter to their head because you're getting rid of the strength.
Because you want like a graduation.
You need like a graduation to push the hair up, but you don't want a crazy graduation because then it actually looks like a graduation. So this is creating super short pieces in the middle that when we wash and style it, it's gonna push all this up and it's gonna give curly hair a better shape. So curly hair looks best when it's shaped. Triangular shape happens, like I don't know if I got it going on right now, but
little
I
bit.
hope not. Ugh. It looks a little triangular. It's been a minute, okay, since I got a little shape up. But triangular shape happens when when curly hair is cut wet, or when the layers are just overgrown. And nobody likes triangular shaped hair. It just looks horrible. So this makes sure that you don't get triangular shape, and make sure that you get a nice shape. I wouldn't say it's a rounded shape, but it slightly looks rounded. But if I'm over directing it all backwards, what shape is that?
Triangular.
Triangular, right? So because it is triangular, it's not round, but it gives you like a round feel. Not sure why. Okay, so now I'm gonna take the next section and I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing, but this time I'm gonna over direct it out. I'm gonna let that perimeter fall. So
Okay.
this is her length. She didn't want to lose any length, so I'm gonna give her all that. And that is what's gonna make her hair feel so much better. She's gonna feel so much happier with the shape after this. So this, I might pick it up and recheck it, but let your perimeter fall, let your length fall. And now that I cut off that chunk of hair, now I'm gonna go ahead and once again create my rose. So I create a nice little circle, and then I'm gonna start cutting into that circle. So you guys, I can teach you this kind of stuff if I can relate it to polymetric systems. So like I said, we over directed backwards, we're creating a triangular shape, and I'm creating interior layers, which is, what is that, like concaving kind of? I don't know. Convexing? I forget these terms.
Convex is round, concave is square.
Okay, so neither
Convex
of those.
is roundish, roundish.
Roundish. You know what? I'm
triangular.
cutting inside the circle. That's what we're doing. But we are creating this little nice circle. Make sure that the circle is balanced. See how nervous I am to cut myself? Oh, God. Have you guys sliced yourselves yet? No?
I did. I was getting hair off.
Okay, but a little cut is fine, but have you, like,
No,
sliced it?
definitely
No.
not.
Oh God, it's the type of slice that makes you scream involuntarily. Like, I don't scream ever or gasp or anything, but there's been like 3 times where I cut myself and I just let out the weirdest screech ever. And it was not even voluntary, it just happens. It's mortifying. Like, you literally feel like your skin comes out of your body. It's horrible.
My dumb self when I was little tried to put a carrot on a shish kebab, so like a whole carrot,
Mhm.
and it went straight through my thumb.
Oh my
And
goodness.
then what happened was I tried to put an almond on a shish kebab stick, and it went straight through my thumb.
Oh, no.
I feel like I'm ready.
The worst cut I ever did was this one right here. The scar doesn't look too bad, but I cut my entire knuckle off, and it took over 2 months to just finally heal. I was so sick of it. It made life so hard for me. But you guys will do it. You guys will do it. You will never stop cutting yourself. You will just get better at catching yourself before you do it. But you'll never stop. It'll always happen. Sometimes I do that. That's okay. Interior. Yes.
Since you're already in, do you mind if I like work on some serious stuff?
Go for it.
Very cool.
Go for it. Totally.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Can I just be lunch late?
Yeah, no, what time do you want lunch?
At least before 5. 4:30 is fine.
4:30? Okay.
So pretty much, Coco, when you're directing it out
Oh,
behind the head,
yay.
you're pretty much
Did you
staying
get that
with
head?
that angle of your section and with the head kind of, right?
Yes, yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Okay.
I'm directing it straight back because
Got
it's
it.
gonna create
Okay.
longer in the front, and that's just gonna look better for natural curl shape.
Got it. So you let the length fall out of it on that section,
I
and
let
then
the
you
length fall
cut
out
that.
because I already cut the length, and I don't wanna make the length shorter and shorter and shorter, and she already said that she wants it to be long, so we barely took anything off the length, but now I'm creating kind of a layer, and you guys see how it's sitting
Yes.
right over it?
Mhm. Yep.
When we wash it and we bring out the curl, you're gonna see what it really does, and it does a whole lot to it. So from what I've seen, Rue's hair, it was pretty flat.
It's not that close.
It was,
It
yeah.
was curlier when it wasn't.
Okay.
Maybe
This would
I'm-
help a lot though, this would help a lot. But it was also very all one length, you didn't have much of a layer, right?
Oh yeah, it's my hairstyle. She just didn't.
Yeah, so especially with the wave or a natural curl, you will never have that shape you're looking for with a one
Yeah.
length. It'll always be a triangular shape.
It was a little wild.
So now this is the crown. The crown is probably the most important part because this is where you really get that weight off of the shape. So I'm gonna still over direct it, first outwards with like this one so I can use that as a guide. But then I'm gonna go a second time up to create an actual layer because even though I'm still graduating, I still want a layer. So I'm gonna use this as my guide to know where I'm cutting to. So it is
Did
right
you just get the text from Jamie?
there.
Did you just get the text from Jamie?
I got one.
So you pulled one piece down from the bottom when you over directed it back?
Just as a guide, a traveling guide.
Just as a traveling guide, okay.
My hairstylist, we did a big chop, so I had my hair down to my butt, and then I cut it all the way to my jawline,
Wow.
and it was a little trying,
Mhm.
because she cut it one length, and then like my wave kind of like bunched it up,
Mhm.
because I had anyways, wavy, curly, and then straight as well, so I had all nice mixture of
Okay.
textures.
So,
really-
especially with this haircut now,
Yeah.
we're gonna get rid of some of those dead ends from the actual perm,
Yeah.
and it's actually gonna encourage it to curl more when you get rid of those ends. And with the layer, it's gonna encourage it to grab onto the bottom curl, and they're gonna spiral more, hopefully.
So
But I'm gonna style it the best that I can.
what makes it like? What makes a dead end like? Why is a dead end like prevent it from curling more?
Because it's a dead end basically is lost all of its integrity, so it lost the bonds that it's needed to be a healthy head of hair. So bonds are what make our hair. So for curly hair, our bonds make our hair curly. So when we lose our disulfide bonds, we lose our curl. So that's what bleach does, that's what chemical service does. It always removes disulfide bonds. So for straight hair, it just makes the hair brittle and thinner and eventually breaks off. For curly hair, it makes our curls straight. So that's why.
So if you like,
Maybe that's why my hair is so flat
Because
now.
the bond is bonded in the shape that you're,
if you have a dead end
Born
and
with,
it
I
just keeps
guess.
going up, is that what's happening? It's like the
Say
bond
that
is
again.
breaking? If like you have the dead end and it just like is at the end, but
Mhm.
does it just like kind of keep going up if you don't?
Yes, a
take care of
split
it?
end is
Yeah.
a dead end. A split end only travels up the hair shaft, which means you have to cut it even shorter at one point. So
Yeah.
if you don't get rid of it right away, you're just making it harder and harder.
Yeah.
Because it literally starts splitting up, and then by the time it splits up here, you have to cut it up here because you don't want to keep splitting. It just does not work at all.
My mom likes her length, so her and her hairstylist like is like both of them are like, no, we're not cutting it. I
No.
was like, please, it's dead. She's
Okay,
like,
so-
yeah, it's dead. I bleach it.
So you guys see how I just was taking it in the middle.
Mhm.
Now I'm gonna take it out to the sides a little bit because the middle has this nice little
yeah.
layer that I created, but the sides are just still longer. So now I'm gonna go ahead and just start grabbing the sides only and taking it out straight out 90 degrees from the sides.
still in that top area.
Mm-hmm. Just in the top area because I want to keep the bottom longer for her. Okay, and after I cut, I recomb just to make sure like I'm not missing any longer piece.
And as a person that just kind of lets it air dry naturally,
Mm-hmm. Air
Is it-
drying will always give you a flatter shape.
Yeah.
If you want a better shape, shaping out curls has to be diffused.
okay.
Today I air dried and look how flat it is. It's horrible.
Mm.
But if I diffuse, I get this nicer shape.
Mhm.
So I need to diffuse. Like if I'm going somewhere and I want to look, if I want my hair to look good, I have to diffuse because diffusing not only creates a shape, it is pushing that product deeper in the cuticle because heat
Okay.
opens up the cuticle, right?
Mhm.
So when we open up the cuticle, the product can go inside of the cuticle and do its job.
Mhm.
So when it's just kind of sitting over the cold hair and then air drying in like an air conditioned room, that product's just sitting on top of your strand,
Okay.
doing absolutely nothing for your hair. So I like to do a little bit of heat, even if you just put on your diffuser and you just go at it just for even like a minute, that's still gonna open up your cuticle
Yeah.
to let the product
So
do
you can
its
just
job.
do it for like a little bit and then let it air dry the rest of the way.
Mhm.
Okay, I can do that.
Yeah, so if I'm like in a rush, I would just diffuse just to kind of pull the moisture out of my hair,
Mhm.
but I'll still leave a lot of it and then I'll air dry from there and that gives me a nice little, what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So make sure, you guys, when you're standing in front, see how I'm standing right here? My body naturally overdirects. We naturally overdirect towards ourselves. So I don't want to overdirect to the middle, right? Because I was saying I was on direct out here. So I did go out this way, but it's more harder for you to push away from you because who wants to be cutting hair like this, right? So make sure you're just in front of your section. That's a mistake I always make when cutting hair, is I always work harder than smarter. So these chairs work with us. We don't have to work against them. Not this chair, but you know, the salon chairs. And this technique would never work on a straight haired person, so don't try it on a straight haired person. And I would consider Rue's hair straight, so I'm only doing this because I know that there's a wave pattern in there, and I know that with this it will encourage the wave even more. But I wouldn't normally do this on wavy hair either. This is for more of my hair texture and curlier. And you just see how it's sitting right on top of her length, so that's gonna go ahead and give her a nice shape. And the interior is still shorter. You can't even see the shortest pieces because they're in here, and those are gonna push all this up so she gets nice and lifted.
Oh my gosh.
Okay,
That's
so I'm
amazing.
gonna grab this one more time, and this time I'm gonna go up to create a layer, because we do want a layer. Even though we are just kind of building all this, it's gonna become part of a layer.
So if you, I mean, I know you don't like, you don't encourage the straightening of curly hair, but what kind of cut would you do if they do it both ways?
I wouldn't do this. I would cut them wet and then flat. I would cut flat iron and then cut them flat ironed. If they flat iron their hair, then cut it flat ironed, because if you cut it wet, that's still not how their hair looks dry flat ironed. Their hair looks way different flat ironed. So if they do flat iron their hair, then I encourage you to at least blow it out as straight as possible and then cut it, or if it's too curly, blow it out, then flat iron and then cut. But there's no curl technique for somebody who wants to wear it straight. Curl techniques are for customers who solely wear their hair curly. So people are completely, in the past 5 years, people are just learning to embrace their natural hair. And there's so many people that do not ever want to straighten their hair again. The last time I straightened my hair was this year. Before that was 2016. And the only reason I did it this year was because I was like, okay, I guess. And after I did it, I washed it the same day. I was like,
JD.
I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I gave myself possible heat damage for nothing. And you see how this looks? It just looks so good. Like, even though it's kind of like, to you guys it might look like a weird haircut, but it's still very balanced. We still got layers nice and balanced sitting all on top of each other. And yeah, it looks good already. So I can't wait to wash it and see what this is looking like. So on the sides as well, I'm going to go ahead and take it up and out. Make sure you guys always drop the perimeter. So anything that is the perimeter has to be full. If you can see through it, then that's too weak of a perimeter. You can always just grab the entire section like this, and you can go up until that perimeter falls. Or you can just drop the perimeter. Some people would say you're scared of cutting into your perimeter if you drop it. Into those people, I'm just being cautious, sweetie. I'm not scared, okay? They think I'm scared sometimes. I'm like, sweetheart. And I'm not cutting too much off the layer, because like I said, when you create a super short layer expecting it to bring you bigger hair, it does the exact opposite. Short hair pushes long hair, so you gotta keep these longer and keep shorter in the interior, and that's gonna give you the lift. And it took me forever to realize that, so I was always asking for short ass layers, and then my curl specialist explained to me why my hair was so flat. Well, it was so big, and she was like, I can make it bigger, and I'm like, oh my god, how? And then she showed me. But you know, all curl specialists, when they style your hair and they show you, you're like, it's cute. So I paid $150 the first time, and then I was like, oh my god. I looked at the floor and I'm like, girl, where's all the hair? What did you do? I was like, well, really? But I was one of those people where I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna pay. I'm not happy. So I paid, and I was like, she didn't do anything. I'm like, where's all the hair? But I'm like, let me give her the benefit of the doubt. I went home, washed it, and styled it myself, and then I was like, whoa, I was blown away. And then right after that, I was like, oh my goodness, I found her. And then I went to her again. So the first time I got an express haircut, but a new customer still was $150, and it was an express, so I came with it styled the way I do, and she cut it. So then I saw how amazing it looked. The next time I went for her full service, which is she washes it, she deep conditions it, she styles it, she cuts it, she washes it and styles it again and refines it. And that one was just like amazing. After I did that, I was like, oh my god, she's an angel sent to earth, literally. But I've never been able to find a curl specialist ever since she's been retired. And I tried a few, and I was disappointed every single time.
Where did she get her training at? What did she
got
do?
She got her curly hair training in Ohio, the Curly Hair Artistry in Ohio. That one is the best one out of all the curly hair trainings. Weedad would be a close second, And
They're
Diva Curl.
super nice at We Did.
We Dad, I love We Dad.
Where's that at?
We Dad, you can Google them. They're all over the place, but
Okay.
they have a cutting technique in their own product, so they're amazing. The We Dad cutting technique is done wet, which is the one reason I don't want it done to my hair. But the results are always pretty, so I might try it one day. But their products are awesome too.
Mm-hmm.
Diva Curl, don't even ever try Diva Curl. They got that big ass lawsuit for making people's hair fall out. And I'm so glad I stopped using them in 2016. Something in my bones was telling me to stop using it. And look at us, 4 years later, they got a major lawsuit, national lawsuit for thousands and thousands of men and women claiming they made their hair fall out. And it did.
I don't like Diva Curl.
I hate Diva Curl. I stopped using Diva Curl not because I thought the products were bad. I stopped using them because they were made popular by a certain demographic, and once they were made popular, they catered to another demographic, and I just didn't like that at all.
Yeah.
They forgot who made them.
So, what would you say your favorite brand? Would We Dad be your favorite brand?
My favorite brand right now is Curlsmith. That's my favorite curly hair brand. I also love Camille Rose and Miel Organics. Those are my top three. They're all organic, they're super expensive. And you know, when people say organic products are like better for you, they are, of course, but organic products build up more so than non-organic products because it's natural, so it builds up in your hair. So as long as you are removing that buildup, you will be fine. But Curlsmith is my favorite. Miel Organics is my other favorite, and Camille Rose. Those are my favorite curly hair brands. You can find all those in any drugstore, Walgreens, CVS, anything like that. Okay, so now that I finished the back, I'm going to go ahead and piece out any pieces, make sure nothing's too long or much longer than the rest.
When you're piecing out, what are you doing? Just kind of point cutting it?
Just point cutting and still doing like the interior cutting, but not
Just
really.
like the little rows, mini
Mhm.
rows?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're going to do the sides. So, let's turn this way. Okay, so now the sides, we're going to go ahead and brush it, mesh it. So again, going to the side of the head is where people got the least amount of hair. Have you ever done somebody's hair and you're doing the whole back and you're like, oh my god, and then you get to the front and you're like, oh wow, there's nothing.
Yeah, it's like 4
Mhm.
pieces of hair.
It's so
Yeah, mine too.
convenient, right?
It's like one.
my head of hair, when people get
That's
to the
so
front
fun.
of my head of hair, they're like, oh, you don't have that much hair. People think I have so much hair until they braid it or they blow dry it, and I realize I don't have a lot of hair. I braided, she was like, oh my god, I don't want to braid your hair, and then she started braiding it and she said I got a small ass head. It's just big because of the hair. Okay, so we're going to use the back as our guide. So there it is right there. I'm going to take off all this dead hair. You can tell that it's dead. You can just see that it lost all its integrity from the perm. And then you see the white bulbs. That still means that there's something inside of the cuticle. So I'm going to wash her with shampoo too to remove everything that's inside of her hair. Sometimes it's not that curly hair is just bad or whatever, and it's just not working with the customer. It's not even that. It's really a product buildup. Product buildup is always the problem. I always tell people, try clarifying your hair and you will see a big difference. Hair should never feel slimy. If your guys' hair feels slimy and smooth and like seaweed, that's a coating of silicone over your hair. So if your products have dimethicone, amylodimethicone, anything that ends in cone or conal, that is silicone. That's plastic in a bottle. If you guys like plastic in your hair, keep using it. I don't like plastic in my hair. I will use silicone if it's used properly. I can tell you guys how silicone is used properly, and I can tell you the big scam with shampoo companies. So shampoo companies will sell you a shampoo and conditioner, sulfate-free shampoo, right? Sulfate-free silicone-based conditioner. So if it's a shampoo with no sulfates, the sulfates can't wash out the silicone, so it gives you the illusion of healthy hair. So if your hair feels slimy in the shower when you wet it, and smooth and like, you know, like seaweed, then that is a coating of silicone. That means you need to get rid of all of it, because hair should never feel smooth or shiny or slimy or anything like that. Hair should feel like hair. Can you imagine reaching in a box of something and touching hair? You would freak out, right? Yes, so you should definitely feel like your hair feels, you should feel hair and know that it feels like hair. It should not be super smooth and soft. That means you got plastic over it. When you clarify your hair, you really feel, when you clarify your hair, if you guys ever clarify your hair, Like even shampoo too, I don't feel like
It's dry now.
I don't feel like shampoo does genuine job at clarifying. So I use Dr. Bonner's. Do you guys know Dr. Bonner's?
No.
Dr. Bonner shampoo or soap. It's a universal shampoo. You can use it as detergent. You can use it to clean your floors. You can use it-
What?
It's like face wash,
It's
clean your
everything.
brushes.
You use Dr. Bonner's?
My mom had like a little one time, and I would use it to clean my makeup
It's
brushes.
so expensive.
And it works
It's
really
so
well.
expensive and it's so amazing. I cannot live without Dr. Bonner's. So yeah, Dr. Bonner's is so pure and so like potent that you need very little. So they don't recommend you to wash your face with it because it can be too much. But I do it all the time.
Oh my God.
And if you wash your hair
Probably
with
seen
it,
the bottle before.
and the bottle's so cute. The
Yeah,
bottle is
probably
super
seen
like
it.
uplifting. The entire packaging has words all around it. And it's like just like talks about how we need to be better for ourselves and how we need to have cleanliness and godliness and this and that. It's just really cute. Super cute. Look it up, Dr. Bonner's. It's amazing. If you guys do the peppermint one, oh my god, that one makes you feel
Where
like
do
your
you buy it
skin is
at?
breathing.
Target.
Target,
Everywhere?
CVS,
What?
Walgreens.
How have I not seen this?
It's amazing.
Target takes all my money every month.
Every time. I'm like, Target, here I come.
$75 minimum.
Okay, so I let her for her fall so that I can keep her length. And now we're gonna go ahead and take a good chunk off of this. Not too much. Just that much right there. Those ends are super, super done for. They're holding you back. Yes. We gotta let go of dead ends, you guys. All aspects of life. Like he ain't
That was last
responding.
time I got a haircut.
Let him go. Say he ain't shit.
I
Let him
feel
go.
you, Kelly. Same.
Great. I
Same
can do
over
it.
here. I can't
Like
even.
a month ago or something.
Too much anxiety. Don't
Like,
touch
I
my
do
hair.
haircuts all the time. You have short, long, short.
If you cut it, that means I'm
Well,
bald.
your length
So
is still
don't
there,
cut it.
so it won't feel shorter, but your ears are gonna.
I just don't know.
One
how-
snip,
I mean,
bald.
I just,
Don't you touch it.
Beautiful.
It is beautiful. I can see the shape that it's making, and I can see how it's gonna push those curls up.
And then the last one, I'm gonna take a little bit of this and a little bit of this. Do you want a bang? You want a bang?
not the
Bang?
bang.
Perfect bang.
Okay.
Because they're already almost to that level, but not quite shaped.
Oh.
Okay.
You see, if you guys ever close your scissors on your skin like that, that's
Oh
going
my God.
straight to the bone.
Oh God.
Straight to the
Perfect.
bone. This is a surgical grade shear, you guys. This can't do anything.
Perfect. A proper shape.
Yes.
Correct.
Literally, like when customers be getting crazy, I'm like, bitch, I got a whole scissor in my hand. Like, crazy. I just don't understand customers that literally got the nerve to be rude to the person cutting their hair. I'm like, oops, my
I
bad.
have a blade.
I have told asshole customers, I'm just like, you know my hand can slip at any minute, right? And they're just like,
Did you see the video that was like kind of like famous for a minute about like this
The
lady had
girl?
an assistant?
oh
Oh,
god.
last
yeah,
week.
and she was like racist towards her or something
Yes.
like
And she said, "Get
She
out."
said,
Yeah.
I would have been like,
that. And the hairdresser
You cannot
dealt with
treat
it so
like
well.
that.
you can't.
Oh, I saw that.
Mm.
Wait, it wasn't too bad. No, it wasn't bad at all. Let me get a Band-Aid.
Okay.